Hello and welcome. So it is New Year's, of course, and hopefully my stream is set up properly. This is the first time I'm trying to do it in this manner, at least on this channel. So I'm hoping I got everything set right. I will be looking back and forth between the camera and this screen here because I have my somewhat of a little bit of a script in order to know and keep on track, because I know I have a tendency to ramble. So I'm trying something a little different this year. I do plan to post 3 videos a week, at least. We'll see, because I tend to get a bit busy with some other things going on in my life, which I will be sharing as we go on throughout this year. So because this is, of course, January 1st, 2018, I figured I needed to go ahead and start this year off right if I'm going to take this more serious than I've done in the past. That's a lot to be said, because I have put in a lot of work and effort in the past, but that's fine. As you know, this is No Kids Allowed, and on this channel we are going to talk about adult content, adult subjects, adult reviews, and things like that. I am also petitioning, as I said, and sending messages out to other companies in order to see who wants to do some sort of sponsorship, or at least send their products in order to be reviewed. For those who don't, I will of course gather money gradually and buy the products myself, and then we will test them out and give the review. So no matter what, even for the companies that do sponsor or donate their products to be reviewed, is all going to be fair. Nobody is going to pay me whatsoever to give them a favorable review. So that's not even an issue. That's not going to happen. So there's no worry about ethics, or that somebody bought me off to say a product is good that it's not. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the first issue for this week, for today being, of course, Monday. For some people, they had a holiday, and I hope you had a great New Year's. I myself, I had to work with no holiday pay, but that's just the way it is. Now, for today, we're going to be talking about trust, and the reason that trust is important. As everybody knows, or everybody thinks they know, that in a relationship, trust is the foundation. And that's easy to be said, but it's not easy in practice to ensure that you have trust, or that it's being used appropriately. Okay. So with that, let's first start with the definition, or at least a definition of trust. Okay. So it's the firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. Okay. It is the confidence placed in a person by making that person the normal owner or property to be held or used for the benefit of one or more others. And that definition came from a quick Google search for the definition. I believe it went to dictionary.com when it came up. So I could be wrong. It may not be from dictionary.com. Either way, that is the definition as it's listed for trust. Now, I don't feel like that's fully complete, because everybody knows in your own experience, trust in a relationship, at least, is a massively different situation. When I personally trust someone, I give no doubt to whether or not that they're operating or doing things that are in both of our better interest, that they're not going out and betraying me. Okay. And that's saying a lot, because it's not easy to trust people these days. People take everything, or a lot of things, for granted, and that's not positive, if you will. So we'll see how that plays out, because it is what it is. I don't deal too much in those situations. If I can't trust somebody, I can still associate with that person, but I know exactly how far to deal with them, if that makes any sense. Like, there's one person I know that I would never leave my girlfriend around, that I would never leave my wife around should I get married one day, because I don't trust that they wouldn't make an attempt to be with that person. and this person knows it. It's not even it's not a secret in our group of friends. We've made this comment for years. This person's already been told that should me and some other friends go and get married, that person can't join the wedding party. He can't come. He at best can watch over the internet because he can't come. It's just not, no, we don't know. Not saying that she would acquiesce, that she would take part in whatever he has in mind, but the fact that he would try, because that would cause a problem. So that's and that's in friendship. So now I've also been betrayed in a relationship, so hard, at least that I know of. One major partner in my past has betrayed me so hard, which we'll go into that a little bit today. But we have the concept, the definition of betrayal. Okay, so as you can imagine, the next concept is, why is it important? Okay, if the foundation of your relationship is built on trust, then when you go to work, you don't have to worry that she's laid up with your brother, your cousin, your friend, or some random person, or vice versa. It could be she who's out and he is home, or it could be a lesbian relationship or a homosexual relationship. Trust is important in every relationship, no matter what, even if it's a poly group. Okay, so trust me, poly groups have just as much issues, if not more, because oh boy. So when you go to work and you're in a poly situation, you have to wonder if he is with her and if they pull the third person in, like while you're away, because he's allowed to be, I'm sorry. I'm assuming, of course, that you're looking at the poly situation as I would picture it, being that I am heterosexual. So it's like one guy and two girls is my default mindset. Don't get me wrong. That's not saying that that's the way it has to be, of course, and that everybody can do their poly situation however they want to, should they be doing poly. And poly means polyamorous, for those who are not aware. I have a couple of friends who are in polyamorous relationships. The one who betrayed me, the woman who betrayed me, she jumped into a polyamorous relationship, and then that apparently didn't work out quite as well as she expected. That's a whole nother can of worms for a whole nother video. So matter of fact, we're not even going to go dwell further into the polyamorous scenarios, because that's not the point of trust. That would just be a poly video. Stay tuned for that, because I guarantee you that's going to be great. And I will probably have some people who are in poly relationships on the video at that time to do and tell their story, or tell what it's like for them, because I know a lot of people are like, how does that work? But it's awesome in concept. It's terrible in thought, especially if you don't fully trust everybody in that situation, or if you become a bit self-conscious. Think about it real quick though. If you know that your main partner is allowed to at any time be with this other partner, or you might have made rules saying that they can't be together unless you're there too, you still don't know, if you're not there, if they're together without you, or if your partner is enjoying that other person more than they enjoy you. Not gonna go into that further on today. That'll be a whole nother video section. We can go into that, but just keep that in mind for a minute. Moving on. So it's important because, and the weird thing is about trust, it's not even the factor of just simply saying, do you trust your partner, or does your partner trust you? It's the exact opposite as well. It's, why aren't you suspicious? Why don't you care? So it's like a double-edged sword, because I know I've dealt with a female in my past, and I was more curious as to why she wasn't suspicious of things going on in my life. Did that mean that she was doing things in her life? So that caused the suspicion, because she wasn't suspicious of me. That may be totally weird to some people, but think about it like this. Okay, so as you can tell, I do photography, I do videography, things like that. But I also used to do massages back at Valdosta State back in the day, back when Langdale was just all females. Okay, so there was a time when I would do massages, I would do the photography, the Greek work, stuff like that, and so women would get, you know, their massage, and sometimes they would come to my house, and I don't know how, but somehow items would be left behind and they would just accumulate. Okay, so there was a young woman that I was dating at the time who at that point I later became engaged to. So she wanted to clean my area, my room, and so we went all through it and we gathered up all the stuff that was from ladies from the past and from whatever scenario. Don't get me wrong, when I'm single, stuff happens. When I'm not single, I'm totally monogamous. I don't do the whole cheating thing. So don't get me wrong, there was a gray area situation once in my past, but continuing on. So we go around throughout the household and we're gathering up all of the items. I mean, there's necklaces, chains, bracelets, bras, panties, and even there was a dress. I was like, what did she leave in that night? Because her whole dress is there. And she didn't ask questions. We just boxed stuff up and moved it to the side. It's like, okay. Okay. So, and she didn't ask no questions. She did just, you know, we put the stuff aside and kept it moving. So I was a little curious, but I didn't want to push my luck because I know I would, if it was reversed, I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, so that's something to think about, if you will. There was, well, we'll come back to another story in a minute. But the suspicion thing, and it can eat you alive. I know I had a friend and he had a situation wherein he was suspicious and he pretty much had all the proof he needed to know that his female was doing, or his partner, I'm sorry, I don't mean to just call her a female like that. Excuse me. His partner was out doing things when she went to events and when she was out clubbing and having fun with her friends, that it was not innocent. So he was stressed, and stress is terrible for you. He ended up losing a lot of weight, and all he wanted to do was love his partner. He wanted to be there for his partner. He wanted to be everything to his partner, but she wanted other things. So that became a very bad situation for him. Of course, they ended up breaking up, and we're not going to go into that story either because that's not my story to tell. If he wants to come on the channel and tell the story, great, epic, and awesome. And that order. But moving on. So the effects that it can have on you via stress, via heartache, loss, things like that, it's bad. It can be very, very, very bad. I don't wish it upon anybody to wonder or question whether your partner is being loyal, faithful, or that they have to worry about you being that person. There's a level of maturity, in my opinion, that it takes in order to be truthful, honest, and loyal to your partner, and some people just don't have it. Continuing on. Okay, so I'm gonna do, I guess, a story time about this situation. Okay, and this kind of branches into another situation, which again is going to be another video. I guess I'll do that this week as well. Starting off this year with a clean slate, giving you more background about me so that you can understand where I'm coming from and my opinions on different situations. So I had a partner, somebody I cared deeply about, who betrayed me. She was cheating. Okay, I was working many hours. I was putting in 10-hour shifts. 10, 12 hours at a time. And 12 hours doing because the hour to get to work and the hour to get back. And then 10 hours at the job plus lunch. So, yeah, it was still about 12 to 13 hours total. And then in the morning, I turn around, wake up, and go to class. And then turn around, grab something to eat on my way out the door to go to work. And then we would only really have like the weekends to spend with each other, even though we lived together. I mean, our days were so packed, or at least my day. My day was so packed with work and school that it wasn't until the weekend that we could potentially spend time. But bear in mind, she worked on the weekend, okay, graveyard shift, and we had one car and we had it jointly. That was, you know, the unique situation about it. So if I took the car to work, she was stuck at the house. And so she was like, well, you know, you get me stuck in the house all the time, all throughout the week. I wouldn't be able to go hang out with my friends and yada, yada, yada. Stupid me was like, oh, well, I feel sorry for that. You know, let me go ahead and get you the car. And so I coordinated carpooling with some people to go to work that, you know, we all worked together. And we made that happen. So she had the car. Actually, I don't even want to say stupid me. I want to say life lesson learned. So, lo and behold, she ends up with other people. People, not person, other people. And it got to extremes that you wouldn't even believe how serious this got. And the crazy part is, I knew the very first time that we had sex after she cheated on me that something was off. I even told her, I was like, you don't feel the same. I can tell something is weird, something is off. I didn't know what, but I could feel the difference in our sex. It was, yeah. And it was an ordeal. I'll definitely gradually go further into this, but that was the time. And what made it funny is we had decided, because it was obvious that we were separating a bit in our personal relationship together, that at one point we said that we would try to bring in a third person to become poly. So that's how I know a little bit into the world of poly. And so I met a female, and I brought her to meet each other. I brought them together because so me and the lady, we went out to the club. After the club, we went to her job because, like I said, she worked on the weekends. So we went to her job so that they could meet and see, you know, if they feel each other, if they're vibing. Because she already liked me. The question was, did they like each other? Because she was bi, of course. And they didn't like each other. They didn't vibe. But she didn't tell me right away. So we left her job because we didn't want to stay there and, you know, be interrupting. We went home, and the lady, she showered and changed and stuff after the club because we were sweaty and stuff. She slept under the covers. I slept on top of the covers. Didn't touch her whatsoever. Matter of fact, I wasn't even asleep. I did sleep at one point, but for the most part in the morning when we woke, when I was waiting for her to arrive, because like I said, she worked graveyard shift, she comes in and kicks in the door. And it's like, what y'all doing in here? And again, the lady is underneath the cover. I'm laying just like this on top of the sheet, fully dressed, slept without, you know, any cover on, so we slept completely separate. And I'm like, what do you mean? Sitting here and you know, waiting on you. And she went off. She attacked me and everything. Physical. Like, physically attacked me, hitting me, punching me, and stuff like that. I'm like, hold up. We're not about to play this game. So I got up and I drove the young lady home. She was in the military, so I had to take her to the air base. This is in Valdosta, by the way. So took her to the air base, and I actually haven't spoken to her since because of how ridiculous that incident was. And she attacked me in the car again, telling me how she just know that I was, you know, having sex with this girl, that we were smashing, and woo, woo, woo. And I'm like, wait a minute, ain't nothing happened. I brought her to meet you, And we had already agreed that we would see about finding a third person, and that I was allowed to, pick the person. Where did this make sense? Unbeknownst to me, she was by far already having her extra fun on the side. Again, that's going to be a whole video series that you're not going to want to miss. That's whew, boy, that was a situation. Anyway, moving on. So, and that was a time. That was an ordeal, and that wasn't the only issue that me and this particular young lady had. Things just got bad, and I was very foolish and naive and thought that things could be worked out. But we'll get to that later. So back to trust. So just don't think that you have to be the one to betray. The person who is overly suspicious can definitely be the person who is doing the dirt, because they figure in a lot of cases that if they're doing it, you must be doing it too. And then, of course, they don't want you to do what they're doing. They don't want you to get over on them, even though they're doing it to you, and totally fine with it. I think it's crazy. I think it's absurd, but that's the way some people think, and that's what some people do. To each his own. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I am definitely not a saint. I have been the person that people I know were in a relationship have cheated with. Like, if she is dating someone and he's out of town or something like that, she turns to me and things went down. This has happened. So I kind of saw it a little bit like karma. The fact that I would do such things in my past, and the fact that this young lady did the same thing to me. So, yeah. But to unknowingly be cuckolded, that's terrible. That's, boy, it gives you a whole new perspective and outlook when it's you on the other side of that fence. So, but continuing on. Honestly, I feel like it's the adult choice. You have to make what I consider to be the adult choice. You can sit down with your partner and say, hey, if you feel like I am not enough, if you feel like you need more or you need someone else, let me know. Because I don't want you to not be fulfilled. I don't want you to not enjoy yourself. I don't want you to wish or wonder what it would be like if you weren't with me, if you were with yada yada yada, especially if it's just a physical situation. Now, if it's physical and emotional and whatever other categories that in your relationship are important, then maybe you two need to break up. But if it's just physical, as an adult, there is a good chance you could say, hey, let me know, and we can work with, either we can work on it, we can add in another person, add in some toys, change something up, but let me know. That's the adult choice, but if you or your partner turns around and cheats, that's garbage, because that's putting your life at risk, that's putting their life at risk, and I'll be damned. I won't deal with something like that again. The moment I even get the whiff of something being wrong, I'm done. I'm out. You have a good life. You and whoever else, do your thing, because my life is too important. If you want to risk my life to get a nut, you do that on your own. If we are talking about a third person, then that person needs to go get an STD test, full panel. And then we can talk from there once we know that they're clean. I'm not too big to say, hey, I may not be enough for my partner, but just to go and cheat. I have a friend who is totally fine with having a boyfriend and having a guy on the side. She thinks that's just the norm. Like, there's nothing special. She doesn't even have to address it. As she told me, They know about each other. The boyfriend knows about the guy on the side. They just don't bring it up. I have another person who says like their wife is like, hey, don't bring it home. Like, as long as I don't never have to hear about it and I don't catch something. Do you think this, if that is your kind of relationship, if that's the kind of trust that you put, I consider that to be an adult situation, and that's something that is not easy, and it takes a massive level of maturity for someone to reach and attain, and it's not easy. I do apologize for the background, the people outside. If you hear it, my neighbors were having a New Year's Eve party, and so they were watching the games. If apparently it must have just ended. I don't know. But we're going to wrap up here in just a few moments. I don't want this to be longer than 30 minutes. But yeah, that's the important part, in my opinion, making that choice. Because at the end of the day, even if it might hurt your feelings or it might hurt your pride to say that your partner might need someone other than you, or need you to spice things up, or whatever the case may be, or even to let them go, you have to ask yourself, are you better with that person, or are you better without them? Because if you can't trust them, you're going to be in anguish, you're going to be worried, you might even be risking your life. And for someone to do all these things, or even risk your life, even though people don't talk about it anymore, AIDS is still out there. HIV is still untreatable. It's manageable, but it's not treated to be wiped out. What's the cure? Do you know one? What's the cure for some of the uncurables? You get herpes, you get gonorrhea. Some of those things can be taken care of. Herpes that's there. Like even them cold sores on the mouth. I just know. If I meet a girl and come winter, she get that bubble up on the lip. Have a nice day. Nice to meet you. No, we can't share a cup. No, we can't. No. And mind you, majority of Americans actually have a form of herpes, whether they know it or not. If you trust your partner enough to lay down with them, you should trust in each other enough to go get tested. Be sure, be safe. And if you need to talk about a change in your relationship or how you function, you need to do it. That's the adult choice, and that's the way it needs to work out. If you can't hold that conversation, maybe you shouldn't even be together to begin with. That's just my thoughts. That's my view. Let me know what you think. Make sure you comment down below. And I hope that this was educational, entertaining, and I do plan on doing, as I said, 3 videos a week at least. The next video should be Thursday at about 9 o'clock again. The reason for Thursday is because I have to go help my cousin move. So otherwise I would have done it on Wednesday. So be posted, keep checking. I am going to do another video at 10 o'clock on one of my other channels, which will be the Spivey Talks. So make sure you check that out. All right. Until next time, we're done here.